Check out the link in the description below and you can find a worksheet that goes along with this lesson. Welcome back to Ukulele Corner. In this lesson, we're going to keep exploring the CAGED system relating to movable positions and connecting chords. We've been looking at the 1, 4, and 5 chord using different shapes. So far, we've covered the C shape and the A shape when that is the 1 chord or the key center that we're in. Now, we're going to look at the G shape. So we looked at how the G shape can move up. You can do the small version without the 4th string in there. We can also add to that the 1st finger. I want to look at the idea of using the 1st finger. So let's move that up 2 frets. We're going to go from the key of G, G sharp, and A. So there's the shape that we've learned. Now, if that's the 1 chord, where is the 4 and where is the 5 chord? Or the 5 chord could be just the major triad or the dominant 7th chord. So in the key of A, we're going to be playing A, D, and E, or E7. So A, using that G shape, right in 2nd position. Finding the 4 chord, it couldn't be easier. Your pinky just moves up to the high string. What does that look like? D chord using the C shape. So when you're using the G shape, and that's your 1 chord, the G is on the low string or the 2nd string. There's where your root is. That's how you can help find the chord shape and how to name it. Then the C shape has its root on the 3rd string. And in this case, we're going from A to D. Now we need to get to the 5 chord. We can use the D shape and then go back to the G shape. It's a little bit of work though. You really have to rearrange a lot of fingers. Try that. It's a really good exercise for your fingers. I'm doing 2, 3, 4, and 1 at the 2nd fret. And 2nd fret with 1st finger, 2nd position. Then going back to G, the G shape. So these chords, it's A here, going to E chord. Now what I like to do often is make this an E7. So you can do a partial bar, or even leave out the 4th string, just play the top 3. And the pinky then is very comfortable sliding back up to get to that, I call it a guide finger. It guides you up to the note we played for the G. C, that E7 shape, then move your pinky back up. Or add the 3rd finger down as well on the 4th string. So if I strum that, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 chord is D, using the C shape. Then I'm going to play this dominant 7th chord. It's basically based around the D shape for the E chord. Then my pinky slides up and I'm back home to the A using the G shape. A goes to its 4 chord is D, 5 chord is E7, and back. So you can interpret that in any style of music. These are just chord shapes. You can bring the music to life by changing the rhythms around, strumming patterns, fingerstyle, whatever you're playing. This is just showing you where the fingerings are. And now we can relate that concept of the chord scale to using 1, 4, 5 in the key of A. But using this G shape, going to C, D shape, then back. Now, there are a couple other options. When we play this shape here, another option is right where this D shape is. See how these 3 notes, if I go back to just the major triad instead of the dominant 7, they're all at the 4th fret. What if I put my 1st finger there? You'd get the C shape again. So 2 frets higher from a 4 chord is always going to give you a 5 chord. It's just a whole step higher. So that's E. E7, a very common way that we play this, like we'd play a D7 here, is just to do a bar. Sometimes people do bar those 2 fingers. So I'll do that way of barring my 2nd finger. Then the 3rd finger is the guide finger, take me back. So another way of holding down the notes. Bar with 2nd finger. See this 3rd finger? It just moves down a fret and I fall right back into my G shape. So that's another idea, another way that you could play. Now, let's try this in a different key. We're playing the key of A. Let's go up 3 frets. 1, 2, 3. What's that note now? On the 5th fret of the 4th string, whether you're in rentrant tuning or low G tuning, this is going to be the note C. Let's play a 1-4-5 in the key of C. 1 is C, 4 is F, 5 is G or G7. We're going to use these same exact fingerings. 1, go right to that C shape. That gives us the F in 5th position. Then let's do that bar that we just learned a second ago. 7th position, and then it falls right back to G. 1 chord goes to the 4 chord. That goes to the 5 chord. These 2 fingers are free. They're getting ready to do the bar. If that's tricky, just use your first finger in the second. That works well. That's another option. Now let's go to the 4 chord. Now let's use the D shape. Let's just do a major 3-note D shape for our 5 chord. That works fine as well. So you have options. So with some of these shapes, there are more than one possibility within the span of a couple frets to find the next chord you need here. Or a dominant 7, back to G. D would be at the 7th position. 1 chord falls right into that C shape. And now we got the 4 chord. Then that could go up to the bar chord, 5 chord, back to 1. What would those chords be? We'd be playing D. The 4 chord is G. The 5 chord is A7. I'll do that D shape with a different set of fingerings higher up the neck. This works nice. And so I would say, looking at all the shapes, this is one of the more challenging ones to kind of visualize. I find it very easy to see. We looked at the C shape and A shape. Things fall together really nicely there. And so this G shape is a little bit more challenging. So really spend some time with this and just really get comfortable with just playing that shape and then making the transition. You can go back to the key like we did at first. We were playing in a lower key, in the key of A, going to D. Then we did E7 here, then back. Right, that pinky pivoted. So spend quite a bit of time getting comfortable with that. Strumming, fingerstyle, just blocking out the chords without even playing with your right hand. Just see where they fall. But now if you start looking back of what we've talked about, isn't it amazing how you can really expand your knowledge from just these open position chords as soon as they can move? Now we can play countless number of chords in any key just by knowing where to move those basic shapes. So we're going to continue on, and next we're going to be looking at the F shape. So I'll be right back with that, and I look forward to sharing that with you.